2 p.m. on the afternoon of Thursday, March 4th. I'll go ahead and call the Metropolitan Planning Organization Transportation Policy Committee meeting to order. Mr. McDonald, will you call for a quorum, please, sir?
I will, Mr. Chairman. Chairman, Judge Krebs.
Here.
Judge Barbara Canales. She is supposed to call in, and she has not. Mayor Guardo. Mayor Scarrow.
Here.
Mr. Edward Martinez, not here yet. Mr. Olivares.
Here.
Mr. Zahn.
Here.
And Mr. Buckner. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Okay, is there any public comment? We'll give them about 10 or 15 minutes, Mr. McDonald, see if there's any comment. If there is, just holler at me or something. We'll let them.
I'll raise a hand, whether virtual or in person. I'll get your attention.
With this here, you might have to throw some spit wads or something at me, maybe something to get my attention and stuff, but we'll go. Okay, we'll seek approval of the February 5th, 2021 regular meeting.
I move approval of the February 5th, 2021 meeting.
Okay, I think I heard Mr. Zahn, I think Mayor Scarrow made a motion, and Chairman John second. Is there any corrections, additions to the minutes before I ask for approval? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay, item 4, we've got discussion of possible action. 4A, we got fiscal year 2021-24 Transportation Improvement Program Amendment 1. Mr. McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you remember, last month you released this for the 30-day public comment period. In the memo, we highlight that it came through your technical advisory committee. The end result is they and staff are recommending approval of your fiscal year 21 to 24 Transportation Improvement Program with Amendment 1. Just want to highlight a few things before you have your discussion or we get a phone call and other public comments, which we have not received as of 2 o'clock. So we'll wait for the last one. But if you see in the memo, you can see we highlight the different projects that were changed. There's one item I'll need to cover as part of that list. I'll make sure I get my right notes. But as you go through the memo, you can see that one of the changes is the second group of projects are just rescheduled. We had talked before about they're coming out of these 4 fiscal years. They're going into after 5 years. So we're not canceling, we're not deleting them, we're just getting them further down in the timeline. So they're still priority projects, they just need funding, and we'll get the funding and report back to you when that happens. So that's a slight change, but it still shows up in the document how we track all our projects. So that's a slight change there. The confirmation of the projects for 181, that was confirmed by the Technical Advisory Committee. So that stays the same. Those projects will stay in the list of projects. We also inserted, and Victor, if you can pull up table 13A or B. It's in your packet. I'll hold up it's the fold out ledger size. And so if you look at the different MPO projects, I'll wait for Victor to show it so everyone can see what I'm talking about. Thank you. And so one of the things we have is we need to show the list of projects that folks can understand. That's this table that you see here, 13A and B. Following this table, and we'll look at it in a minute, is what I call TxDOT's STIP, State Transportation Improvement Program. So our projects need to be in the right format that TxDOT has. And that was an agreement between TxDOT, the MPOs, as well as Federal Highways to show that kind of format. And that's in the TIP document as an attachment here, but it follows this spreadsheet as you see. We'll look at it in a minute as I talk about one of the changes that will yet happen to the table. So that's the new format we added. The other change we talked about last time was putting in a group of projects, those hike and bike trail type projects. They're referred to as Category 9 or technical or TAP or TASA, different acronyms, but they're the hike and bike projects, there's other eligible things. So we group those 5. We list the detail in the appendix of the TIP document, and so everyone can see what those projects are in detail. And so in our table here, but also for all the documents, it shows up as a group. So if you look at here, what's on screen, you can see it's MPO-066, various TASA projects. That's the collapsed dollar amounts. So it's in our document so folks can know how much money we're talking about, which is not a lot. It's a couple $1 million. And then the details in the appendix. So that's how that grouping that we talked about last month, how that plays out. So that's the way it looks now for that. The other change we have, and Victor, are you scrolling, or can you? They don't give me the mouse when I'm up here. So if we go down to table 13B, just below here, you can see 2 things here. First, the easy one, the last item, the future Category 9 projects. We're in discussions with TxDOT and Federal Highways of how to show that. Right now, we show it as a future dollar allocation to the MPO for these kind of projects. We have not done a call for projects. We're just capturing the dollar amount so we don't forget about it as staff and anyone else, that when we do a call for projects, this is the line item. So we're working to show this in the TxDOT documents and with Federal Highways to make sure it's captured appropriately. So we'll report back any changes to this as that comes forward, but that won't change until after we do a call for project for those type projects. Now, the larger change is the project MPO-008, the US 181 Harbor Bridge Voluntary Relocation Program. It's in this fiscal year, 2021. Oh, Victor went away. Can you scroll over to the right? In our discussions with TxDOT District and TxDOT in Austin, Federal Highways, as late as yesterday, you can see under Category 7, the 17.3 million federal. I don't know if you can circle that with the cursor. Thank you, Victor. That's staying the same, so that's not changing. The two $20 million entries under local/other and prior funding, those two $20 million entries, that's what we're talking about of how to capture that, reflect that. We think the dollar amounts are fine because there's been contributions of that, but in the federal highway system, the TxDOT system, their finance system, their STIP, all the acronyms of all the documents, we want to make sure we reflect it appropriately. And so we need some time to do that. And so it'll show up probably, if we have a change, and we'll propose approving what you see today, including this, but you have a TIP Amendment number 2 next on your agenda. If this changes as far listed here, or could you scroll down to the next table? What I call, this is the TxDOT format of their state transportation improvement program. First project there, you can see that on the lower right of what's on screen, that you can see that local $40 million. That's the summation of the 20 million plus the 20 million. So right now, we're anticipating bringing a note forward that will clarify that $40 million from taking it out of this table and showing a note, or keeping it in this table with a note. We haven't quite decided how that note works with all the financial systems at the federal, state, and local level. So sounds like a lot of work, but we think we've worked through it. We just need to alert you that when you approve it today, maybe the motion maker can say subject to the future technical correction or documentation of this one project, which is MPO 008. And so, again, today we're not asking you to change anything in the TIP as presented with Amendment 1, just knowing that when we bring TIP Amendment 2 back to you after the technical committee in 2 weeks, and next month we'll bring it back here for approval, we'll have the resolution of this note. So, again, to summarize, the $40 million, we just need to capture it correctly, and it's going to show up as either 0, 20 plus 20, or 40. We don't want to speculate the answer now because we don't know exactly. So that's the only change that we have in all the documents. You have in your packet the list of projects. We had a link to the 60 or so pages of the Transportation Improvement Program. So if you've read that and have any questions, this is the day for your approval of that. We'd be happy to answer questions on that document, any of the other documents. And let me highlight one more. Victor, can you go to the TxDOT financial, or the summary financial page? I think it's at the end of what you have on screen. Should be at the very bottom. There it is. If you, yeah. If you scroll, there you go, thank you. In this table, you can see about halfway down, on the left side, there's a 7 for category 7. Same dollar amount, that 57.3 million, that consists of the 17.3 million federal plus the $220 million. So the math works out, this table may also change. So it's all one project, it's all just a way to account for it. There's no missing money, it's just how do we show it in the right system. So those are all your attachments. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Is there
And
any
we're
question-
recommending, and the TAC is recommending approval.
Any questions from Ms. McDonald on any of the attachments here?
Not a question, just a comment, just to make sure, because that was a lot of information for the voluntary relocation on the Harbor Bridge, but main thing for the board to realize, that is all just administrative sausage making. It's just, the $17.3 million hasn't changed. That's the number that we're looking at. That's category $7 that we need to plan for.
Yeah, and if I good point, because I mean, this was approved years ago. And so it is the sausage making and just trying to track it in the federal, state, and local system. But what you have presented is the recommendation for approval.
Okay. No other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve the FY 2021-24 Transportation Improvement Program Amendment 1.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I think that came from Mr. Zahn. Sure. Zahn, okay. Any further discussions before the vote? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Great, thank you. And before we do the next item, no public comments have been recorded at the office as of 2:06, sorry.
Okay, okay. Then we'll go ahead and go into 4B, fiscal year 2021, 2024, Transportation Improvement Program, Amendment Number 2.
All right. I'm looking for our transit folks. I don't see them.
Oh,
That's okay. Luckily, I'm versed in the whole item.
okay, you got it.
Talk to them. Now that we've gone past TIP Amendment Number 1, here comes TIP Amendment 2. So in your packet, the memo written by the CCRTA, or Corpus Christi Regional Transportation Authority, they have received more money. So in accord with the federal rules and regs, their federal money needs to come into our transportation improvement program so it can be tracked. So not only federal highways, but federal transit. So this federal money is now outlined here. They have some amendments to projects in the different fiscal years for 21, 22, and all the way through 23. So with the new money, they've been able to add additional projects. So the cover memo talks about that. Today's action is to release it for the 30-day public comment period. You'll approve this TIP amendment next month unless there's any major upheavals, but so far, so good. In the packet, you have the small print eye chart. That's the table of all the changes to their projects in the list of all the projects that they have for the RTA within the Transportation Improvement Program. We highlight in red font so we can track them, and you can track it, and the citizens can track what are those changes, whether they're amendments, new projects, new dollar amounts, new programs, because sometimes the category of federal funds, they change. So the RTA staff did a great job of boiling it all down to a couple of pages. The last attachment is the public notice that we put out, but it's really in tandem. The RTA also needs to put out a public notice, and you can see on the backside they have their notice there as well. So right now it stands as written. No public comments through the Technical Advisory Committee, none through today at 2:06. Recommendation from the TAC and staff, release this for the 30-day public comment period.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion that we release for a 30-day public comment period the 2021-2024 Transportation Improvement Program. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved. I got a motion by Mayor Scarrow. Do I have a second? A second by Mayor Guajardo. Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, 4C, we got the 2021 Safety Performance Measure Targets.
I'll let Craig Casper
You
take
got it,
this, and I'll be quiet for a
Let
minute.
Craig have this one. Okay, Craig, you got this one.
Good afternoon. Since Congress began requiring MPOs and DOTs to use a performance-based planning and programming process, one of our yearly tasks is to review the performance and update the targets for performance measure 1, which is safety, if necessary. As an MPO, we have the choice of either supporting the state's targets or adopting our own, as long as our own targets are at least as aspirational as the state's targets. The state's target is Vision Zero, zero fatalities by 2050 with a half amount in 2035, which is pretty aspirational to begin with. So the TAC and staff have discussed just supporting the state's measures, which is what we've done the last 3 years. If you look at the table in the memo, if you look at the table in the memo, you can see the performance that the state has had for the past 3 years, 2018, 2019, and 2020. And then the targets adopted for 2020, which was adopted prior to the Vision Zero, and the target for 2021 and 2035. The questions that we got at the TAC pertain to how is this obtainable by 2035 and 2050. Actually, in January, the Transportation Research Board had the director of Australia's highway system present. And Australia, as a country, has about the same population of Texas, and they have 1/3 the number of fatalities that we have with basically the same driving behavior. What they used to cut their fatalities in half in 5 years was automated enforcement is their principal thing. They stopped having police enforce traffic laws and started automating the enforcement, speed cameras, red light cameras, things of that nature, and they put teeth into the punishment. It's not a moving violation, so you're not in danger of losing your license, but the cameras, it's like a parking ticket, and they are expensive parking tickets. They start in the hundreds of dollars and go up very rapidly from there. And they saw within a 5-year period the cutting in half of the fatalities as that happened. Also around the U.S., cities that are adopting Vision Zero are reducing speed limits because speeding is the primary contributor to fatalities. And so we've seen around cities that have adopted Vision Zero reducing speed limits generally to 20 miles an hour on normal streets, and then arterials in the 40 to 45 mile an hour range. So that is a big contributor. The other part is betting on technology, the autonomous vehicles that are coming, and their ability to increase safety. So there's some of that hedging bets in the future. But as I mentioned, the TAC and staff recommend supporting the state's rates, and if you look at the amendment, or the resolution, you'll see what that means in our area. In 2019, we had 39 fatalities. We don't have the 2020 number yet, which would mean in 2035 our target is 20, and in 2045 our target is 3. Our plan does not go to 2050, which is when Vision Zero is, so we used a proportional reduction. And so by 2045, our fatal crash target is 3 fatalities. Are there any questions?
Any questions, Mr. Casper? Well, that's quite a decrease.
Yes, it is aspirational.
Yeah, that is. That is. Okay. Not hearing any questions, do I have a motion to approve the resolution for the 2021 Safety Performance Measure Target Program?
I move to approve the resolution.
Okay, I got a motion by Mayor Guajardo. Does that have second?
Second.
Second, and Mr. Quinta. Okay. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay, that's the end of our discussion, possible action. We got number 5, information only. Draft after action report on the 2045 Metropolitan Plan, fiscal year 2021-24 Transportation Improvement Program and Congestion Management Process. Mr. McDonald.
Thank you. I will let Craig take this item as well.
Transfer it to Craig again.
No,
Oh, y'all
no
splitting it up today on,
We're trying to. We've got to alternate better, but.
I should pay attention to what my program says here, and I'll have the names right. Okay. Mr. Castro, go ahead.
Good afternoon. As we discussed last month, we did a survey of the Transportation Policy Committee and the Transportation Technical Advisory Committee about the performance of the 3 documents that we mentioned. Since then, as part of the after-action report, we have done an internal staff review of all the federal requirements that are listed throughout the federal laws and regulations from Federal Highway and Federal Transit Administration, and created a 5-step evaluation system of those, how we perform those tasks. The 2 biggest takeaways that we got in doing that is that we need to improve our communication with the public and agencies that are impacted by transportation decision-making, and that we need better data and forecasting performance tools to analyze the potential outcomes of our transportation investments. Turning to page 4 of the AAR is the beginning of the staff evaluation, and what I want to focus on are the unacceptable. So it's a 5-step evaluation system from unacceptable up through outstanding, and we have 7 critical areas that were evaluated by staff as unacceptable. 2 of them that you find on page 4 are the Coordinated Public Transit Human Services Transportation Plan, as required by transit regulations, was coordinated and is consistent with the MTP. So that transit plan never actually happened, and so we can't be consistent with it. We've been in contact with TxDOT Austin, and we will be probably assuming the lead. We're having discussions right now for us to assume the lead of that transit plan update so that it can be done in coordination with our plan. The second one, 2 down, is the MTP was consistent with the Regional Intelligent Transportation Systems architecture. We could not find that document. It's been required for about 20 years. We are unable to locate it. We've been in contact with the regional America at the regional DOT here, and we are participating in the update of that. And so the other 5 are similar. In the Transportation Improvement Program, one of our unacceptables was that we used the year of expenditure, a 4% increase in cost of the projects. We tried to do that, and we were told that TxDOT doesn't do things that way. Well, in the intervening 8 months, Federal Highway has adjusted TxDOT's approach, and so now that 4% per year inflation is included in the tip. So we will be going through with working with the TAC and other agencies, trying to adjust our planning processes for the 3 documents. And we have also started updating our public participation plan. We are hoping you will see it this next month, if not next month, the month after. That will lay out how we will approach the public and other agencies that are impacted by transportation decisions. Are there any comments or questions on our after-action report?
Doesn't seem to be any. Good job.
Stunned silence, it's my favorite thing.
Okay, going on to item 6, member agency statements. Any of the council members have any? Mr. Oliver, go ahead.
I do, Judge, thank you. I just wanted to express my appreciation to this group and their staff, Mayor Guajardo, Mayor Scurro, Judge Krebs, and I think Chairman Zahn is on the line as well. I see Peter Zanoni here and other city staff. It was a rough ice event that we went through a couple of weeks ago, and there's no way we could have got through it. When I say we, TxDOT got through it without the help and assistance that we received from your law enforcement and your staff as well. So there were They helped supplement our crews as our eyes and ears out there, and they reacted quickly. And again, there's no way we would have been able to keep up without the support we got from our local government and from you all as well. So I think the incident command structure that we had set up worked well. Communication worked well as it was funneled through TDEM, and it worked, and it helped us work together as local governments to get this done. So thank you again.
Thank you. Any other comments? Mr. Oliver, I'd like to thank y'all complimented us. Y'all did a fantastic job. I mean, helping us in the rural areas around Corpus Christi and everything with these road and bridges. It was an extremely ugly situation for South Texas. There is no doubt about it. As I told you before I came in, Monday morning was the only morning that I could not get to Sinton. Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, I got to Sinton, but it was more sliding than it was driving getting into Sinton Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But with y'all's help from TxDOT up there, we were able to keep the roads pretty well contained, you know, with our people and y'all's people working together. So y'all did a fantastic job as well, helping us getting things done. So we
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Yeah, what I told our employees and anyone who listened, to grade the operation and how we did as far as the response, you look at safety, right? And we look at our employees, that they get through it without any injuries. We work 12-hour shifts, 24 hours a day, more than a week, repairing and de-icing roadways. No injuries, one minor one, but no injuries. But the bigger one, for everybody in this room and our efforts, there were no fatalities on our roadways due to the ice event that occurred that week. So I think that's a measurement of success there for everybody.
Right. It was. It's really how true that is. Okay, any other comments? Okay, just a couple of announcements for upcoming meetings. The Technical Advisory Committee meeting is going to be on March 18th. And then we will have our transportation meeting on April Fool's Day. So we'll see what you have prepared for us on April Fool's Day, okay?
We have
April Fool right there.
I know,
There it is.
you said it.
I said it and boom, it went on.
All right.
It was like you had it scheduled.
But first, enjoy spring, right? Spring and St. Patrick's Day.
Right, exactly.
All right.
Yeah, we do. I think
Another meeting.
it's good because they get the picture, right? We can't do this, and this goes for anything that we do. We can't do it alone. We got to work in conjunction with our local government the best we can. So I think, yeah, they have a lot of pride in what we're doing. Emergency event, I mean, that's something that we strive on excelling at whenever they come around. It's tough when this was unprecedented because it hit the whole state at one time. So it's not like we can pull crews from somewhere else where I can't move from one county to help another county because they're all spread out. So that's why the supplemental
What gets you moving?
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
You'll have the energy to skate through anything. So whether you like to work the half pipe,
Kick the soccer ball around.
or ride your bike.
carve out some time every day to get moving.
But do it your way.
Because it can be whatever you want it to be. Just get active.
Wrap it up.
Move it your way and be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day, Doc.
Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
That's www.letsmove.gov.